Hello and welcome to Good Evening Britain, a Force for Good's weekly show, coming to you live from our studios here in the heart of the great British city of Glasgow, with me, your host, Alistair McConnachie. We are broadcasting on all our digital platforms throughout the United Kingdom and across the world. We're bringing you quality pro-UK comment and analysis every Wednesday from 7 until 8 p.m. And folks, what a fantastic show we've got lined up for you tonight. Firstly, this is our 150th weekly Good Evening Britain. And as we always say, that's got to be worth something, right? 150 one-hour episodes of this cracking show. Thank you so much to you, the viewers who have stuck with us all these years, and no doubt will continue to support us. And thanks, of course, to the team behind this, without whom none of this happens. 150. Here's to the second 100, the 200th anniversary as well. But we'll certainly be here, and we're going to keep doing it because this is such an important program to get out there. And one of the reasons why it's important is we interview people who don't always get heard on the other channels, and we help to raise their profile as well. And tonight we have a fantastic guest in the shape of a lady who goes by the stage name Mrs. Kent. And those of you who follow our Facebook and our TikTok will remember that this was the artist who performed on Dover Beach, gave several songs when we were down there launching our book on Saturday, the 19th of July. And the video that we took of her song entitled No War has had, as a consequence of our video, has had over 1 million views, just that we know about as a consequence of our platforms. Okay, 1 million views, over 1 million views. Incredible stuff. So Mrs. Kent will be coming on at 7:30. And if you can't recall exactly who it was, we've got a video, a 1-minute song that just lined up for you now. So let's just play that.
This is England, and we ain't gonna back down to no one. This is England, and we ain't gonna back down to no one. No. Let's wake up the lions, cause it's been too long. So many sleeping, so I wrote this song. We gotta come together, it's time to fight back. It's now or never, never, never. So pick up that flag and make them remember. This is England, and we ain't gonna back down to no one. This is England.
Fantastic. This is England is the name of that song. And goodness me, that's relevant this week, because those of us who are on social media will be aware that there is a campaign in some parts of England at the moment, which seems to be quite successful, called Raise the Colours, which is about putting up English and British, i.e. St. George and Union Jack flags on largely lampposts in various streets and areas of England, really just to annoy the council that doesn't approve of that. So we totally like that idea. And so this is a perfect evening to have on a great British patriot in Mrs. Kent. So she'll be coming on at 7:30 talking to us about her musical career so far. Good stuff. In addition to that, let's just lots been happening, actually. Where do I begin? Let's begin with the Falkirk rally, which was last Saturday, the 16th. Now, nothing to do with the Force for Good. We weren't involved or organising it at all. It was simply a local group that had taken it upon themselves to campaign regarding the asylum hotel in that area. And my goodness me, they did get a big crowd to come out and oppose it. As you see there, that's a very good picture. That was last Saturday, as I say, the 16th of August in Falkirk. Maybe some of you watching were there. If you were there, tell us how big you think the crowd was. I've seen some very big estimates going up into like 1,500 people, but certainly it seems to have been between at least 1,000 anyway, with some people saying it definitely fell between the 1,000 and 1,500 mark. So please tell us if you were at that and what you thought of it. Now, while that was happening, A Force for Good actually had another street stall here in the heart of the great British city of Glasgow. And oh my, it was a successful stall. We had 6 of the team, including myself, as a photograph of the table team, looking very colourful as well. And as you can see, busy stall. Goodness me, we needed the people behind the table. We needed several people behind the table to deal with everybody who was signing our petition and speaking to us, and as usual, telling us to keep up the good work. So that was a very good day. Okay. And there you go. That's a shockingly colourful pic of our AFFG emblazoned caps and T-shirts. Brilliant stuff. Good. So that was Saturday. Action in Falkirk, local action that is. And as far as we're concerned, we had our table outside in the centre of Glasgow. Now, some of you will also know that we are having a rally. More about that in a minute, but let's just say hello to people who have come in. Debbie says, good evening, and says, I'm upset. I'm going to miss the rally in September. Well, we're upset that you're going to miss it too, Debbie. Derek says, hello, AFFG family. Another great summer's day. Well done to those who have been doing demos at hotels up and down the land, showing and flying the Union flag, especially in Birmingham. Hi to Oksana and to Exiled Viking. And to Catherine. And Tony says, evening to everyone from Edinburgh. And fantastic Mrs. Kent, who is coming on, has reposted this stream on Twitter, or on X, as it's now called. So please, folks, if you're watching on X, just give us a repost. It really helps to bring in the people and to get this message to new people. If you're on Facebook, please give us a like and a share. And if you're on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up. Anthony shared it. And Tommy, thanks for all your support. And to Dawn, who's watching from Portadown in the great country of Northern Ireland. Anthony says, our one at Holyrood is going to be massive, isn't it just? It's going to be brilliant. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Roxana says more than 1,000 in Falkirk. Hi to Peter. Catherine says she likes the top. Thank you. This is the t-shirt version of the Union Jack shirt that I occasionally wear by Noel Gallagher's Pretty Green Company. Okay. Hello to British Legends, and Tommy's watching from Coatbridge. Christopher says he was at the Falkirk protest and it was epic. Well done to you, Christopher. Good. Well, let's talk about the event now. We, after the Falkirk effort, we realized that we needed to keep the momentum going. And as far as a force for good is concerned, we leave the local hotel campaigning to the local groups. We're more, as an organization, we're more about the big events, big staged events in George Square or elsewhere. And George, last year, on the 7th of September, we had our first Enough is Enough rally. And it was in George Square on the 7th of September. And we had 500 people at it. And on the other side of the square was the same amount of the opposing side, shall we call them, who were just standing shouting at us. Anyway, we had a great event, and it really upset the people who ought to be upset about it. And this year we were thinking, well, we would like to do another one, but we can't do it in George Square because they've shut down George Square and they're renovating it, and it's not going to be reopened until autumn next year. So it occurred to us, because there is a Scottish election next May, why don't we hold it in Edinburgh? Why don't we hold it outside the Scottish Parliament? 1 year on the 6th of September this year. Now, it just so happens that that's also the day that the All Under One Banner people are having their yearly wander down the Royal Mile. And they're going to end up outside Holyrood as well. So, as they say, the more the merrier. I think that's a good idea that we can be there also. We can have two rallies. They can hold their rally and we can hold our rally. And we can invite them to consider our sensible points of view on how best to control mass immigration, an issue which they either don't touch, or when they touch it, they really muck it up and make it worse. So that's what we're going to do. And we're calling it, again, we're calling it Enough is Enough. And we have a great graphic there. Let's remove the line. Enough is Enough. Rally outside Holyrood, Saturday, 6th of September, 2025, 12 for a 12:30 start. Protect our country, protect our kids, fairness in housing, homes for Scots, stop the boats, asylum frauds out. Raise the colours. British Isles flags only. Speakers to be announced. Okay. And that's important. I'll get to the housing in a minute, because that's a big crisis which is being exacerbated by mass immigration. But I just want to clarify the bottom line there. British Isles flags only, which is to say flags of the British Isles only. We do not want to see any foreign flags, okay? Leave the foreign flags to the other side. don't be bringing any flags of any opposing foreign countries. If you do, you will be asked to remove those flags. This is Britain. It's not the Middle East. Do not be bringing your Middle Eastern conflicts into our rallies, okay? That's very clear about this. We have nothing to do with this. We don't want to see any Israel flags. We don't want to see any Ukrainian flags. We don't want to see any Iranian monarchy flags. Believe it or not, you see some of those at rallies in England. So we're going to enforce that, and it's going to be a great day. As we say, and we're doing it in association with our good friend Nick Mitchell from the We Say It podcast. And Nick says people better be ready for this one. Absolutely. Derek watching from Armadale. We're going to be superb, says Anthony. Absolutely. We're going to be superb. And it's going to be a fantastic event. And we're going to have speakers, lots of speakers. And it's going to upset all the right people. Oh my, it's going to upset all the right people. And we are going to be normalizing the immigration restriction conversation, because we have to do that going into the May election at Holyrood. We have to normalize this, and we have to make sure that the politicians have a position on it. And if the politicians want more, that's up to them, but they have to be clear that they want more of it so that we know we must not vote for them. So we're polarizing the debate, as it were. It's like, what side are the politicians on? Are you on control, or are you for open borders? And we're going to reveal the people who are for the open borders so that people will not vote for them. And that's going to be most of the SNP. It's going to be all the Greens. It's going to be many of the Labour people as well, unfortunately. We've got an issue here with a stream. Let me see, we're just going to have to do something here. Some people watching on Facebook are not seeing it. It seems to have ended on Facebook. If it has, please come over to X or come over to YouTube, please. Good. Now, we've got Mrs. Kent coming up at the bottom of the hour. Before we introduce Mrs. Kent, though, let's talk about an issue. The front page of the Herald yesterday. Soaring demand for refugee homes could cost the city £66 million. Now, what's that about? This is saying that there's a large number of quote unquote homeless people in Glasgow who are refugees, and it's costing the city. Now, the leader of the council, Susan Aitken, gave her explanation here as well. This is yesterday's Herald. Now, let me just explain how this comes about and why Susan Aitken is talking complete mince. Now, what happens is, if you are an asylum seeker, you come in, you're fresh off the boat, you get put into a hotel, and you stay there usually for as long as it takes for your claim to be processed. Now, that's likely to be months. Now, if you get found that, if you get accepted, if your claim gets accepted, then you become what's called an official refugee. You're no longer just an asylum seeker. You are now granted asylum. You're now called a refugee. And here's the crazy thing. the government will then say to you, you have to leave the hotel accommodation and find your own accommodation. And you've got 56 days to do that. Now, if you don't speak the language, you've got no skills, you're not really very useful to anybody, how on earth are you going to find your own accommodation? Okay, you can't. However, as we always say, don't feel too sorry for them. They have an army of NGOs who will step in and try to get them placed throughout Britain in council accommodation. Here in Glasgow, we have Glasgow has set itself up as Glasgow City Council, that is, has set itself up as particularly welcoming to these refugees. So many of them come from all over Britain to get council accommodation in Glasgow. Now, of course, there's only so much council accommodation, but the council does have a statutory duty that if you present as homeless, they do have to put you somewhere. So when they talk about homeless refugees, they're talking about these people who have been put out of the hotels, who have got nowhere to stay, and the NGOs are trying to find them accommodation. And what happens is the council will put them up in B&B accommodation largely, or maybe back into some kind of hotel accommodation, or they'll find some way to ensure that they're not sleeping under a bridge. However, what we're told here in yesterday's Herald is that they did have a statistic of the actual overall numbers who are refugees. Now, what we do know anyway is that 44% of the applications from those granted refugee status in Glasgow come from people who got that decision while living in the rest of the UK. So, I mean, there's lots coming in from all over the United Kingdom to take advantage of Glasgow's particularly generous housing provisions for refugees. And this is costing millions of pounds for Glasgow City Council, millions of pounds which it doesn't have, millions of pounds which it can only get from you and I by putting up the council tax or by cutting services. So that's what's happening. So you look at Susan Aitken, who's now the leader of Glasgow City Council, and you're like, can we get any common sense here from her as to her solution to this? And this is what's the crazy thing, is because when people like you and I look at that, we'll say, well, do you know what? There's a problem here. The tap is overflowing. What we need to do is turn off the tap. However, the way that people like Susan Aitken look at it is, do you know what? It's not a problem that the kitchen's flooded. It would be wrong to mop. It would be wrong to turn off the tap. That would be cruel to the water that's got a perfect right to come through the tap and flood the kitchen floor. So we're going simply to accept that the kitchen floor is always going to be flooded. And in fact, it should be flooded, and that we don't have a right to turn off the tap. That would be prejudicial to this poor water that is flooding the kitchen floor. So we're not going to turn off the tap because that would be waterist. You know, that would be against water. We're just going to let the tap flow, and we're going to let the kitchen flood. And what we're going to try to do, though, is to make the best of this flooded floor. That's the approach that people like Susan Aitken will always take. And the answer is literally in, and she's written it here. She says that what needs to happen is that the UK government needs to give better support to the refugees at the point where they are given the right to live in the UK. Now, that's code for we need more taxpayers' money to be given to these NGOs so that they can find more places for these people to live and also more taxpayers' money to be given to Glasgow City Council so we can find more expensive flats and homes for them to live in. So that's our first thing, more money from the taxpayer. Second thing is to fund house building. Well, you can't build houses at the rate at which the people are coming in. There's hundreds of people coming in every day. You cannot build houses at the rate that will suffice for that. And thirdly, she says here, home acquisition programs are necessary. Well, that's like compulsory purchase of other people's homes. Nobody's brought her up on what exactly and how exactly she's going to do that. And then, of course, the fourth thing is don't bring them to Glasgow, disperse them throughout Scotland. Okay, so in Susan Aitken, we see the mentality that is alive in so many council leaders and so many politicians throughout the United Kingdom, and that mentality just has to go, because it's a completely chaotic mentality that doesn't want to address what is happening, what is the problem in the first place, and just wants to find as many possible sticking plaster solutions or sticking plaster answers to the situation. The flooded floor is just going to stay flooded. There's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing that we should do about it. It would be wrong. It would be wrong to turn off the tap. Let's just make the best of this situation. That will always be her attitude. And what needs to happen in our democracy is that these people need to be democratically voted out. And that mentality just has to go. And we have a chance next May to get some people into the Scottish Parliament who will at least say these things. Because right now, the politicians are scared to say these things, or because they actually believe the Susan Aitkens of this world, people who should never in 100 years have been near any kind of political lever of power. 100 years ago, they would have been laughed out of the room. But for some reason today, they're able to be running our lives. And we're conscious that there might be a problem with Facebook, and there's nothing that we can do about it at this precise moment, I'm afraid. Now, let me see. Comments. We've got Mrs. Kent coming up in 2 minutes' time, folks. 2 minutes' time. Well, we should certainly be angry at the Home Office, and we certainly are angry at the Home Office, Gio Carlo. We're also angry, of course, at the devolved Parliament and also at the councils who could be putting pressure on the Home Office. You know, Susan Aitken needs to say to the Home Office, we're not taking any more. You have to stop the channel traffic. That's what Susan Aitken has to do. She's not going to do that. She's going to double down and say, keep that tap flowing. Aye. We will have our country back. And I know somebody who believes that we will have our country back, and indeed who sings about we will have our country back, and that's Mrs. Kent. And we first became aware of Mrs. Kent when we went down to the Great British National Protest event on Saturday the 19th outside, I should say, Dover Beach. Iconic. And Mrs. Kent gave a few songs, and one of our people took a video of Mrs. Kent singing her No War song, and we cut it and we put it up on our TikTok, and it got 325,000 views. We put it on our Instagram, it got 182,000 views. We put it on our Facebook, it got 120,000 views. And somebody took it from our TikTok and put it on their X page, and it got 325,000 views. Our TikTok got 430,000 views. Altogether, over 1 million views for Miss Kent's No War song, which for me put her on the map. And so, folks, please do say hello. I'm bringing in Mrs. Kent right now.
Hello. Hiya.
Great to see you. Great to see you, Mrs. Kent. You will have heard me just talking there about your performance on Dover Beach. Had you been performing before in front of an audience?
Not like that, no. Prior to that, really, it was like in a pub, and then really just in my bedroom.
Well, I mean, nobody would have thought that. Nobody would have thought that. And how did you feel after the performance?
I was glad, like, I got it done and out of the way with, because it was like a massive fear of mine. It's something like I've always wanted to do, but then it was just, I didn't really have the courage. But that day I just pushed myself. I was like, right, we're going to do this. And even though, because I did mess up my second song, but I was still so glad that I did it all. I was like, do you know what? It doesn't matter though. Like, I was so nervous. I was like, but I knew I had to do it, like, no matter what. I was like, I'm going to do it.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the way that you do it. There's always a first time. But what a first time, as I say, your No War song got over, just on our platforms and related platforms, got over 1 million views. I know it got just as many on your platforms and on other people's platforms. So it really hit home.
Yeah. I think it's because of, like, obviously it's very truthful and a lot of people can relate to the lyrics, and obviously there's some comedy in there as well. So yeah, I think that's what it was really for people.
Yes, absolutely. So, I mean, have you always been like a political person, would you say?
No, not at all. Not at all, no. It was really after no, it's just before Labour got in. It was all through TikTok, to be honest, because TikTok is actually like my main platform. And then I just see loads of videos, and it's really opened my eyes to everything. And then it was like I just sort of fell into it. I like sort of woke up, or whatever you want to call it, during 2020, during the whole like pandemic and everything else. Like, my eyes were just opened, and then I don't know. I just came across all these videos, and they just blew my mind. I just fell into it. It's literally the only way I can describe it. And then but I knew it was going to be a really negative thing for Labour to come in. And I actually thought Reform very possibly might win, and they didn't. And I was just devastated. And I was like, oh dear, this is not going to be good. But I think everyone just really wanted the Tories out, and then but also I think it was a lack of votes as well that did it. So just not enough people are voting and stuff like that. But anyway, I think everyone sees the bigger picture now. Everyone can see what Labour really are and what their intentions and their agenda really is. So I think a lot of eyes have opened now. Thank God. So yeah.
Well, you mentioned there 2020, and that was a period, I think, when quite a few people woke up, as it were, or at least, I mean, what was it for you that kind of shifted your consciousness during that period?
Well, I was actually a care worker. I worked in a care home close to where I live, and I believed it all. I really did at the beginning. I was so scared. I was petrified, and actually it was meant to be really bad in the home I was in, and like we was even considering like sleeping in the home and everything. Like, we didn't want to go home to our families. And then again, TikTok, I was on there, and then there was a lot of truth speakers, and they had given me this perspective that I've never seen before, and I was like, whoa. And these people were just talking about things I've never heard of, and I had my mind blown, and I couldn't believe what I was hearing. But my mind is very open, so yeah, I just couldn't believe it. And then I had them try and force me to have these vaccines and everything else, and I just outright refused. I was pregnant as well at the time. So yeah, it was a very strange, stressful time. I remember saying to my colleagues, like, have you even thought about this? And they were just like, no, I don't want to lose my job and stuff like that. But they hadn't actually really thought about it. Do you know what I mean? And I know that there's a lot of people now that regret having it, but I don't know anyone that regrets, not having it. So. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's funny you should mention TikTok there, because for me as well, some of the, and I won't go into this stuff, but just kind of stuff about history and stuff about the nature of the world and stuff like that. And you're suddenly seeing these extremely convincing material that you hadn't really ever considered before. And it moved quite a few people into thinking, crikey, maybe the world isn't quite what I imagined it was. But that aside, back to reality, as it were. Have you, I mentioned, have you always been political? You said no. Have you always been musical?
Yes. Yes, I have. So I've actually written songs since I was a child. I literally learnt piano when I was really, really little. And then I started playing guitar when I was a young teenager, I think about 13, 14. My cousin Steve, he taught me how to play guitar. And then after that, I bought myself an acoustic, and then I would just sit in my bedroom and I'd watch YouTube and I'd learn songs off YouTube. And then, like I'd always written songs. Like I remember being really little and sitting on a piano, just writing a little song to myself. So I've always been musical.
Good. Well, that explains it. That explains it, certainly. But no, I think it's absolutely fantastic what you're doing. Now, you've got a couple of events coming up this weekend, which is also one of the reasons why we wanted to have you on today. We had another guest on last week, or we would have had you on a wee bit earlier. But tell us about what's happening on Saturday first.
Sure. So this Saturday coming, we're holding a patriotic picnic at Mote Park in Maidstone, Kent, and it's all about just celebrating being English, really, celebrating our culture, our history, just being able to be proud of our country. And to be honest, it's like, I think that there are some people out there that think this is more than a picnic, and it absolutely is not. I believe that we deserve to have some sort of happiness in all this madness. I want it to be a family day. I want us to just all have an old traditional English picnic together. And it's also, again, a freedom of speech event. So I would like, people to, if they feel up to it, of course, maybe come say something or even perform something. I mean, I'm going to have my guitar, my amplifier, speakers, that kind of thing. I just want us to feel confident in celebrating who we are, really. Because the way the world is at the moment, it makes you feel like you almost should be ashamed of it. And I think that's downright out of order. That's Saturday. So, it's dog friendly, child friendly. So please bring your family. I'll be bringing my children. And let's just have a jolly good time together. And then it gets a bit more serious on the Sunday.
Yes. Well, the picnic thing, that's this Saturday, 23rd of August at noon.
Yeah.
And in Mote Park in Maidstone, which is in Kent. So if you're down in that neck of the woods, please do take a wander into the park at 12 noon on Saturday. Hopefully it'll be a lovely day, and just go up to the great crowd that are being hosted by Mrs. Kent's Patriotic Picnic. I like the sound of that. It's got a good good ring to it. An old sort of old English, old British tone. Mrs. Kent's Patriotic Picnic, and bring your own everything, I should imagine, and have a good time. And what do you see as the value of that sort of thing, bringing people together in that casual way?
Yeah, I just think it would be really I think people need it, to be honest, right now. Just something positive in all this negativity that's going on. We can just all have a lovely day together. There's no, and obviously, I mean, there is always risk of the left turning up or whatever, But if they do, then more for them, because it's literally just a picnic. And to them, I say, do you know what? Come and have a sandwich. You know what I mean? It's not that kind of thing. It's literally just a meet up in the park. Let's have a nice day together. Let's celebrate being English. Listen to some English music. It's just going to be a nice day, really.
Absolutely. I think I don't think the opposition, as it could be called, would turn up to something like that. But if they did, they would look complete twits. because they would certainly, you guys would make sure you advertised their foolishness on social media, and it would just be a complete self-own, as they say these days, if anybody tried to do that. So I doubt that's the case. And if they did, as you said, just bring them along, say, hey, have a sandwich, because some of these people, some of these people are just genuinely confused, and they will understand some of them, not all of them, not your Susan Aitkins of this world, not the people who actually run the council, who are ideologues and who are embedded in their foolishness, but just especially a lot of the younger people are just looking for a cause and can be convinced otherwise, or at least can see the point that you guys have got.
I mean, I've had a bit of hate and stuff in regards to it. I've been told it's a racist picnic, a fascist picnic, a Nazi picnic. I was like, bro, it's just a picnic. Like, seriously. It's just, it's so funny. It's quite funny because there was a lady, I just made a song out of her video. So thank you, Helen, for the inspiration there. She's on TikTok, but she made a whole video about me saying you're trying to bring racists to Mote Park and all this. I thought, I'm going to make a song out of that. That's what I'm going to do with that, and that's what I did. Not sure if you've seen that. If you haven't, I will forward that over to you. But yeah, man, I'm just going to turn that negative energy into positive. That's what I'm going to do.
Absolutely. Celebrate being British, says Stephen here. Christopher says this sounds absolutely brilliant. Paranormal says, superb. I wish I could go, but I'm from up north in Lancashire. What would you say to people who would like to be at a picnic?
I'll say to them, I am going to be moving it around to try and make it a bit fair. And hopefully what I'm hoping for in the future is that people sort of jump on board. Obviously, me being Mrs. Kent, I'm called Mrs. Kent because I'm from Kent, you see. So I'm hoping that other areas will claim their title and then start having picnics in their areas. Because you know what? That would be great. That would just be brilliant. And then we can all have our events on the same day, but in different locations. And I just think it's a really positive thing, and people need it. And to come together with like-minded people, it's just going to be lovely. Like, it really is.
Absolutely. And gives you time to relax for the big effort on Sunday, which is more political. What's happening on the very next day, the 24th?
So on Sunday, basically, just want to head down to Downing Street, obviously just get our voices out there again. It's just more because I've had people say to me, why don't you just wait till September the 13th? But I'm going, don't worry, I'll be there, darlings. But it's just, I think we just need to keep doing things. Obviously, I just feel like the more we do, the better. And obviously, you've got everyone outside these hotels. There's literally like daily protests, weekendly protests, and it's just another protest, basically. But yeah, that's really it. We're just going to go there, voice our opinions. And people keep saying to me, it's a bank holiday, they're not going to be there. And I'm like, I know, but this is 2025. We have technology. They are going to hear and see us. Don't you worry about that. It doesn't matter where they are. They will hear and see us. It's just, I got very, very passionate one day. And I was like, do you know what? That's it. Because originally my picnic was on the 24th. And then at the time I was like, fuck the picnic. We're going down the street. And then I was like, someone went, look, Jodie, right. A lot of people are looking forward to this picnic. You can't do that. I was like, right, okay, you are right, actually. Right, let's go. I was like, okay, right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to have the protest on the Sunday and the picnic on the Saturday. There we go. We have a patriotic weekend. And it was sort of like that, really.
Oh, absolutely. And as your poster here says, divided we stand, united we stand, divided we fall. This tyrannical government does not care about the people of this country and has put us all in danger. Time to stand up. And that's such an important thing, that it is literally, we are in danger. The first requirement of a government is to protect its people, and it is failing miserably in that. Yeah. And so that's this Sunday, the 24th of August, again at noon, outside Downing Street. If you're in London, folks, please do go along to Downing Street at 12 noon, and please say hello to Mrs. Kent and her team. And you're so right about this idea that although there's only going to be maybe a few people watching at the actual time, the fact of the matter is that because of modern technology, it's going to be seen by potentially hundreds of thousands of people. So that's almost the larger part of it, is really the propaganda that you're able to take from that event and beam out to the rest of the world, and it multiplies the effect exponentially. So do you have, like, are you going to be carting in a big speaker behind you, or do you have a smaller speaker system, or what?
I do have a speaker, yes. I will be taking that. I'll be probably writing some speeches down. I think that's what we need to do this time. I think we need to get some powerful speeches going, because it's about empowering the people, and I know it is working. Every day I'm seeing more and more people standing up, whether it's outside these hotels, whether it's posting online. I mean, we've got these raise the colours, is it? Raise the colours, I think it's the hashtag is, or whatever it is. It's trending at the moment. Everyone's displaying all their flags everywhere. It's fantastic. So in whatever way you're doing this, you know, it's effective. So don't doubt that it isn't. I mean, we've had success with the Epping Hotel now as well, being closed down, and the migrants being moved. So, you know, for the people out there, it's like, oh, this isn't going to work. Well, it clearly is. It really is. What I'm trying to say is, like, the more we do, the better, and the more of an effect it's going to have, you know?
Yeah. And everybody can do something at the end of the day, even if it is just coming along to support. And if you can't come along to support, maybe finding another way to support, you know, through ensuring somebody can do it in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm quite impressed with this Raise Your Colours idea, which is taken off in some parts. I don't know how widespread it is, but certainly it's getting a lot of publicity on X and also on TikTok, and it's really just kind of staking a claim, I think, to this is our country, as it were. And you alluded to it earlier, we do have an identity that it seems sometimes we're not being allowed or expected to express. So I think that's a factor there, and a flag is a good way of expressing an identity. Some people are a bit snobbish about flags. They'll go, "Oh, that's you know, how else are you going to express your identity?" And some people try to smear it as well with that association, which has never really been correct. Even when it might have seemed correct, it wasn't even correct, because everybody, the idea that it should be so-called far right to fly the flag of your own country, that's completely bonkers.
Bottom line, that's our flag, isn't it? That's our flags of our country, and I think it's downright disrespectful to be disrespecting our flags that way. And I also think you know, we need to remind people where they are. They seem to have forgotten, and you know, these people that are not looking to integrate into our country properly. It seems to be these that are having the issue, and obviously the strange far left as well. Yeah, bottom line, it's our flags, and you know, like, just remember where you are. This is our country. This is our homeland. Don't you dare come here and disrespect our flag. Honestly, who do you think you are? Really, I would never go to another country and start trying to tell them how to live or how they should be, or they shouldn't be displaying their flags, because I find it offensive. Oh, I just can't believe we've gotten to a place like this. It's mind-boggling. It really is.
Absolutely. It's been just a complete British muddle from the very beginning. And we have been so tolerant to the point that we have accepted, well, goodness me, how far back do you go? But I mean, I think here in Scotland, for example, Scotland used to be like a totally Christian country. I'm going back to like the 1600s. And it would be like nobody would even conceive of not even being Christian. But certainly the idea of people with a foreign religion coming in, it would just be like, that's not our country at all. And
Mm.
then it all got liberalized into the 1700s and 1800s, and then it was just come one, come all, and now it's every religion under the sun, every way of looking at things. It's
Yeah, I think it's extremely unbalanced. I think that's what's happened. The balance is just way off at the moment, and it's just not okay. You know what I mean? Look what's happening. It's like we're sacrificing our countries. Why? Do you know what I mean? Why is this happening? When did this start happening? Do you know what I mean? And it's happened so slowly over time, and only now that we're seeing that it's on the extreme end. Like, it's like, okay, this is bad. You know, we shouldn't be losing capitals and things like that. Like, I just can't get over it.
It really kicked in after World War II, I think, and then after World War II, like into the 60s and 70s and 80s, there were some people who could see the direction it was going, and they were saying this could really turn out, badly, as it were. And they just got smeared or marginalized, and the very few politicians who tried to warn about it were just seen as, at the time, were seen as cranky. I'm thinking about, Powell, for example, and were otherwise punished politically for it in some ways. And then it's suddenly, everything that was predicted is now coming to a head, and it's increasing. It's like they're speeding it up now.
Yes.
In the hope that those of us will be unable to respond, but what they don't see is what they misunderstand is the resilience of the British people who will take their country in a good direction again. Shall we put it that way? It's the idea that all is lost. We've got to give up. We've got to immigrate to some other country where it's just going to be just as bad.
Yeah, eventually.
That's just negativity. So that's why I'm so heartened when I see people like you who are not only organizing events, but also putting ideas into music. I mean, do you do any writing on politics, or is it just songwriting?
Just songwriting currently, yeah. I didn't expect to write anything political, and I literally just thought I'm going to give it a go, and yeah, it worked out. So I guess I can do it. But I seem to be better at putting it into my lyrics than into like words, if that makes sense. But I've always been like that. I've always managed to express myself better through lyrics in music, in songwriting. That makes sense.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's probably just the way your brain is wired. People who are songwriters can be very good in a way that people who can write essays couldn't even begin to do. So it just depends where your talent, as it were, where your talent lies. Good. Well, folks, before I remind you once more of the two events, Mrs. Kent is on all the socials, on tiktok.com/@Mrs. Kent. Now that's MISSUSKENT, all one word. Also on x.com/Mrs. Kent. Also on Instagram.com/Mrs. Kent. So please do, if you're on those socials. Are there any others that you're on?
Facebook. I'm pretty much on all of them now, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Facebook.com/Mrs. Kent. Do you have a YouTube page?
I do, yeah. It was meant to be just for my music, but yeah, it's fine to follow that. That's fine. I mean, if I make any more political music, that's where it'll be.
What's your most successful social?
I'd say TikTok. Well, TikTok at the moment, but I do think I'm going to be banned very soon. I'm on 29,000 followers, and yeah, I've got some what do you call it, warnings. So yeah, I've been banned so many times on TikTok. So, but I mean, I've got 10,000 on Facebook, 10,000 on Instagram. So it's just wherever you like, really. Follow me wherever you want.
Good. Well, we follow you on Instagram, TikTok, and also on X. And would advise everybody else, please do that. Now, just to remind you again, this Saturday, if you're down in the Kent area, down in the Garden of England, Mrs. Kent will be having her patriotic picnic. Let me just remove that banner. On Saturday at noon in Mote Park in Maidstone. Please go along. And if you're in the London area the very next day, Sunday the 24th, please go down to Downing Street at 12 noon. Again, for Mrs. Kent's United We Stand, Divided We Fall. What do you plan on saying to Mr. Starmer behind the gates?
Me?
Yes. What do you plan on saying to him?
Well, I'm going to have to sit down and write something. That's what I'm going to have to do. I don't know yet. I'm not quite prepared. I think it's because I'm so focused on the picnic because that's coming up first.
Oh, yeah.
I get all of that organised and then I'll have to sit down and I have to really think about what I'm going to write. But I want to write a speech. So everything is what I'm going to be saying.
Good. That he needs to hear it, absolutely, and he needs to basically protect our country, stop the boats, protect our country, protect our kids, and do the job of government, which is the first duty of government, which is to defend, is to ensure the safety and security of all its people.
I don't think he's going to. I think he's a puppet. I think they're just pulling he's having his strings pulled. I don't believe he makes any of the decisions, is my personal opinion on it. I think it's the powers that be, and I think that's why he's there. I mean, just watching his time with Trump recently and Trump saying all these things to him, and it was just like his brain was empty. He just didn't know what to say. And he looked worried on his face. And yeah, I just see it all. I read body language and stuff, you know. So, but as long as they all hear it as an entire government, that's kind of the idea, really, you know.
Oh, absolutely. And sometimes you're not really even speaking to him. You're just speaking to those other politicians who are taking note and thinking, that's something that I should maybe be aware of, even from my own self-interested point of view. If the people are taking this point of view, then I'd maybe better get with the program, you know, and change things. But change is coming, and it may take a little longer than we expect, or it could speed up and be very quick. But it's good to know that there's still people like you left down there in the Garden of England, along with your fellow patriots. Good. Okay, Mrs. Kent, it's been really good to see you and to speak with you, and all power to your vocal cords and to your brain and your work that you're doing. Good to see you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Very welcome. We must have you back on again. Take care.
All right, take care. See you later, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Good night.
Bye.
Fantastic. Mrs. Kent from Kent telling us there about her work. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Good. I said protect our country there. The name of our new book, 315 pages of common sense about how to stop mass immigration. You just need to go to Amazon and search for Protect Our Country, and you'll get this book. And it has all the answers that you need, written in very clear, easily accessible language. Lovely manner in which it's been laid out. Protect Our Country. Please go to Amazon and get it. That's the way you can support the work that we're doing here, which is going to include, as I mentioned earlier in the program, a fantastic rally on the 6th of September, the Enough is Enough rally. We're going to be outside Holyrood Parliament, 12:30 start. Please come along and bring your flags of the British Isles so we can have a really good Raise the Colours event and stand up for the safety and the security of our country and for fairness for the people of Scotland. Good stuff. We shall be back next week, folks. Please give this Twitter a repost. Please give it a share on Facebook. Please give it a like on YouTube. Thanks for all the comments that have come in tonight. Thanks for a fantastic guest, Mrs. Kent. What a lovely young lady, says Debbie. Dan Tagg says, I'm a Sussex lad, grew up in Kent. They're lovely folks. Christopher says, best of luck, Mrs. Kent. Great stuff. It just remains for me to say, God bless the United Kingdom and God save the King. See you next week.